Hey everybody, it's Rob here. We're on the PTR and I wanted to talk about all the new tempering recipes for the Barbarian and what they mean in terms of balance and how they impact our build guides after testing the PTR thoroughly for well over 100 hours in the last 7 days. So let's get started. The first one here, we're going to start with weapons, obviously, because we have 4 weapons, and in general the power level on Barb seems to be pretty decent because we can temper all these different things on 4 weapons, allowing us for some crazy combinations. And there are some affixes that go up to like 400%, and you can have it essentially on 4 weapons. So you are looking at 1000%, or at least like well double the size increase on a lot of skills. And I already made a lot of videos, and a lot of those new skills look amazing. The whirlwind radius or the rend stuff just looks so cool. So Barbarian certainly is looking great for Season 4. So the first weapon aspect here, this is a generic one, everybody has, is the Elemental Surge. This one is extremely powerful, and I could see it being tuned down a bit after the PTR. After all, the PTR is there for figuring out this kind of things that are strong and maybe a bit overpowered. And Elemental Surge, I think, is one of them. On the Barb, you can have this on 4 weapons, and if you put this on a 2-hander, it actually goes up to crazy amounts. I don't know if I have one here on a 2-hander right now, but yeah, you see even on the 1 here, it goes up to like 40k damage, and on a 2-hander it's doubled. So you can get well over 100,000 damage with this on a lucky hit. And you got to keep in mind, on a weapon, your normal base damage, you can see, is about 4,000. You have 3,000 to 5,000 damage here, so 4,500. And this one is going to be more than 100k. So you're looking at an easy 25x of your weapon damage. So this is basically doing 2,500% weapon damage on a lucky hit, and that is extremely powerful. I made a Hoda lucky hit build, and there's also like a Bash or Generator Lunging Strike lucky hit builds that are going to be possible, or that are possible with this Elemental Surge. There's also a bug on the PTR where the lucky hit chance also goes up apparently. It's not displayed on the tooltip, but whenever you upgrade this, the lucky hit chance goes up as well. From 40% it upgrades as well. So there is some pretty crazy combinations, and we can have all sorts of elements. There's some cool things on the Sorcerer where you can get Tarasha stacks with all these different element procs. And yeah, even on the Barb, I mean, we mostly want physical damage, but the procs are insane. And if you do use like generators or some skills that have a lucky hit chance, I made a Hoda, like Hoda has 50% lucky hit with this Elemental Surge. Like every other Hoda hit has basically on 4 weapons, you have a 160% chance, even if it doesn't scale with upgrading, to proc something, right? So you're guaranteed on almost every Hoda to proc this once, and this is going to do like, yeah, 2000% weapon damage. It's going to be better than Hoda itself. So we'll see how this is going to be tuned. Then we have the next one here, Berserking Augments. This one is really cool. So first of all, you have the whirlwind size. This is what I have equipped right now. The whirlwind size goes way up. It literally covers half the screen. I can't show this to you in town, but it's pretty cool. I have a video that I'm going to be linking in the description. So whirlwind size is very cool. Also a very nice support skill. Double swing size, I have played quite a bit as well. But it doesn't really seem to be that great, because with double swing you're mainly playing around the twisters at Dust Devils, which we're gonna go into in a bit. But I could see like having like 1 roll on double swing size, just to, you know, double swing makes enemies vulnerable. It helps you with Berserking if you want. It helps you with Fury. So it's also a pretty good one that's gonna be definitely seeing some play. But yeah, we'll see how the Dust Devil come along, because right now you don't want to waste an augment or a tempering on double swing size if you can get Dust Devils. So we'll see how they will balance that. And Frenzy Duration, from my testing, seems completely useless. They might as well just remove this stat. The only thing that Frenzy does with Duration, it gives you some damage reduction, gives you some attack speed. But that's really weak, because right now we're already like in almost every build have attack speed cap, because we can roll, you know, attack speed. Let me see if I have a weapon here right now that has attack speed. We can roll like insane amounts of attack speed on our weapons. See, you can see here 40%. It's not even a greater affix or crit. Now you can get like up to 80% attack speed on one weapon, and the cap is still 100. So yeah, Frenzy Duration just isn't good. Berserking Duration I would also never choose, because you have a bunch of Berserking Duration in the Paragon, and you are mainly kept on your Berserking Duration anyways, because it can't exceed you know, unless you have max Berserking Duration. But this is just like normal Berserking Duration, which doesn't help you at all. Then we have the Wasteland Augments here. So this unfortunately was bugged on the PTR, so ground stomp size looked pretty cool, but also very useless. I think like there's not really a bigger reason to have ground stomp size. The only thing that you can do with it is reduce the cooldown of your ultimates. Like if you hit a bigger area of effect and you hit more monsters, you get more cooldown. You can essentially have permanent Wrath of the Berserk with this, but also I don't think it's really anything you would necessarily play. And then we have Leap Slam Slice. This one unfortunately was bugged on the PTR. It would be good because, you know, whenever you hit enemies with a leap, you can reduce its cooldown by using one of the resource aspects. So Leap Slam Slice I could see, if they fix it, it could be pretty nice. And it goes hand in hand with Earthquake Duration and Earthquake Size, because this is like the Leap Quake build that I already made a video about. But most of these things were bugged on the PTR. The Earthquake Duration did work, but it didn't increase the DPS. And yeah, the Earthquake Size was pretty nice, but you have to make a choice, right? You want Leap Quake, Earthquake Size, or Earthquake Duration. And mostly the Leap Quake wants all of this, so it's sad that this is all, you know, on the same slot. So I think the best thing here will be the Leap Quake Size, just to ensure that you are hitting monsters to reduce the leap cooldown. And I hope they fix the Earthquake Duration. So right now the way it works is, let's say your Earthquake does 100 damage over the 4 seconds it lasts, 25 damage a second, and if you increase the duration, but don't increase the total damage that it does, it's just gonna do this, let's say 100 damage over 8 seconds, and then it's just gonna do like 12.5 damage per second. So this is the way it works right now. So the duration is not really that useful. Yes, you can scale a couple things with the Twister Glyph and stuff, but mainly Earthquake Duration seems not useful, because again, it does not increase the DPS per second. And I think in order to make this useful, it needs to increase the damage. But we'll see. That will be just some of my feedback. The next plan here is the Furious Augments. We have the Bash Cleaves, and this one is actually pretty insane. It's underrated. I've been testing this like on the last day. I also have a video for that here on the YouTube channel. It basically makes you a Bash Cleave, and you can see I got a triple roll. It can cleave for up to 500% weapon damage. And this basically means that your generator is now an AoE attack and also does 500% weapon damage, which is pretty cool because you can stack it on 4 weapons, and it's actually pretty strong. I have a Bash build. I think it's actually a pretty strong and solid build. I'm definitely looking forward to play this in Season 4. So underrated, but very cool. Finally a viable generator build. I'm so happy. Hammer of the Ancient size is pretty cool. I made a Hoda build. It's still viable, and it basically allows you to hit like 360 degrees on all of your screen. So this is insanely cool. Then we have the Upheaval Size. This one also is probably the biggest skill in the game. It literally covers the entire screen when you use it. And just a very fun mechanic. One more thing on the Hoda stuff. It did not increase the Quake if you're playing it with the Quake aspect. It didn't visually increase the size, but it does increase the size. You are hitting enemies with it. Kick Vulnerable Duration seems pretty useless. I was like briefly testing it. You can have, I don't know if I have the item still, but you can have like up to 1000% here. Like you can probably have almost 2000% kick vulnerable duration. So base duration is 4, and if you're increasing it by, let's say, 1000%, it's times 11. So it's already going to last until, you know, Season 5 starts. It's like 4 seconds times like 11 or something. It lasts 44 seconds, the vulnerable on the target. But I don't really see why you would want that. You know, I was just like playing around with it to test everything. That's pretty much this plan. Then we have the Sandstorm Augments, and boy, this is the most powerful one out of all of them. Basically the chance for Dust Devils to cast twice. You can even scale this here. This Dust Devil size. Okay, but there's size and chance. So you can scale the chance, I think, up to 100% if you triple crit it. I'm not sure where my item is right now. Okay, here, the chance. So you see I have double crit and it's 87. And if I have triple crit, you can actually get 100% chance. So you can't exceed 100% chance. So just have it on one item and double or triple crit and you're fine. And then keep scaling the rest with the Dust Devil size here. You can see 66%. Double that on a two-hander would actually be 130% Dust Devil size possible to have. And yeah, there is another item that makes Dust Devils scale damage with size. So yeah, this Sandstorm Augment recipe is extremely strong and We'll see what they do. I don't really want to like advocate for nerfs, but this thing has literally been crashing people's PC and burning their graphics cards. So maybe I could see this one being tuned down a bit. But that being said, I still hope that Dust Devil, you know, is going to remain a viable, strong build, because it's the new thing. And I don't know, Adam Jackson, he said it in the developer campfire chat, wants this to be a really strong or really like build that people really play. And I think it's a lot of fun. And maybe just tune it down a bit so people can actually play. Then we have, last but not least on the weapons, the Bleed Augment. Rend size, rupture size. So the rend size is really good. It helps a lot. I have a rend built up. The rupture size, I didn't really use too much, but you know, you can combine it too. I just prefer the rend size because it's on the same slot. And the rend size essentially solves the problem, the gripe that I always had with rend, that it has this very small cone. And it was very hard to hit monsters with it. It was pretty much only good in single target, but now it's really amazing. And the rend also allows you to combine with Rage of Haragas, which now has been updated as well, to reduce the cooldown of your skills. So I think that rend build is gonna rock. Again, the rupture size not really that useful. Flay duration, I think I tried it briefly. It's completely useless because again, it doesn't increase the DPS. It only increases the duration, but you still do the same damage, just over a longer time. So essentially, it can be a nerf. And then, yeah, Pressure Point and Exposed Vulnerability. These are like two useless passives. Like you have this one here, you get some Vulnerable, and this one you also get some Vulnerable. Like you almost never play this. In this build here, I played it because I just had nothing better to put the points in. It was a hell type build. But you know, like in the end game, you never want to play this. And I think this this recipe on the end here could definitely use other passives or just, you know, remove the flay and the pressure point so you have an easier way of getting this, because it's already 20% chance, and you guys know that you can brick items and all these recipes that have you know, 5 or multiple choices of what you can hit, like 1 in 5, you only have 5 chances, and there's a very good chance you never even get to see rend size, even if you're fully using all your temperate on this one affix, and you know you already have another affix. So I think just removing this like useless stuff and actually have meaningful choices. I don't know, pressure point, exposed vulnerability. Let me know in the comments, but like this one could, and flay duration could just be completely gone. Okay, then we have offensive. Obviously, natural finesse is really strong on a barb. You have it on 4 weapons, and if you roll it well, you can see here, it can roll up to 300% additive damage. Essentially, making all your like passives on your Paragon tree that give you additive damage completely useless, because 5% additive damage, if you're having like, you know, 4 weapons with 300 additive plus some rings and stuff, is less than 1% damage in the end, right? Like you're getting like 0.1% damage out of this. So yeah, these are extremely strong, and mainly you want close damage on barb. The other ones are not as high. Damage percent also works. And for some builds like Upheaval, actually with the radius increase, it's so large that you actually want the distant enemies. Like Upheaval is like a bit of a ranged build. And you can like, it literally covers more than the entire screen. I was like 2 screens away and I was killing like, you know, some monsters. So distant damage for Upheaval is the play, but on the rest of the barb builds, you pretty much always want close. Then we have the finesse here, kick damage, charge damage, deathblow damage, and damage while Iron Maelstrom is active. Man, talking about damage on Tuesdays. I thought they wanted to remove this stuff. So damage while Iron Maelstrom is active is a complete meme, because you can't cast any other skills while you have your Iron Maelstrom active. I also think it's the worst passive. It looks very cool, and I hope that they make it viable, or I don't know, turn this into like reduces the cooldown of Iron Maelstrom or something. But doing more damage while this is active, while you cannot cast any other skills, sounds like a complete L to me. So yeah, maybe they could like change this. Deathblow damage was pretty cool, but also here, like, why would you take deathblow damage if you can already get like, you know, almost the same amount in close damage? I played a deathblow build, it was pretty cool, but if you have deathblow damage or if you just have close damage, you know, it like doesn't really matter all too much, because again, it's all additive. Charge damage is the same problem. Like, why do you want charge damage if you can just have close damage, and they even have the same value, or almost the same value, like close enough. So I always just choose close damage. Kick damage can be played. I made a kick build. It was part of my Leapquake build. and also part of my charge build, so I would always take kick damage because this one is significantly higher than the close damage. So if you're playing a kick build, you definitely want to use this one. Berserking Finesse. This is also damage on Tuesdays. I don't know, damage while Warcry is active. Like, dude. Damage while the Berserk is active. I just hope they remove this stuff. Damage while Berserking is pretty cool. This one helps you to stack out the passive. It's been nerfed now. But it's still a strong passive where you want to always stack 1.3 off. And I find myself to use it on usually two items. So I usually have it on gloves and on one-hander. And that one makes it very easy to max out your 1.3 multiplier here. So very helpful. Last thing here we have is damage on Tuesdays again. Damage with like all different weapons. Like, I never use this because there's no point, because you can just run close damage. So I wish they would do like something different with this, because like having this more damage on Tuesdays versus just having close damage. Like, we are Barb, like 99% of our builds are like close by, and yeah, you see here 55 versus 85. It's a no-brainer. Like, do you want damage on Tuesday, or do you want like always damage against close enemies? Yeah, I take damage against close enemies no matter what weapon I take, obviously. Okay. Let me put an amulet here. Oh, these are already tempered. The non-tempered amulet. Okay, this one. Nice. So on the amulet, you can actually roll all the tempering stuff, so we can keep going with defense. Yeah, resistance, always nice. I think it's pretty cool to like just make up for whatever res you need, you miss. Then we have the strategy here: Groundstorm cooldown, Iron Skin cooldown, Challenging Shout cooldown, Steel Grasp cooldown. I found myself mainly using Challenging Shout. It is very useful, even though it's the lowest roll. I have it like on my helm, for example, here. And it really helps you keeping up your Challenging Shout. You can see here, it's 15 seconds cooldown and 7 seconds uptime. And you also reduce it up to 6 seconds. So we're actually getting 9 seconds cooldown and 7 seconds duration. So it's almost permanently. And you know, you can also get it on your pants. And if you have full cooldown and also crit it, you can have perma Challenging Shout. So this is really cool. Iron Skin I used a bit as well, pretty nice. A Ground Stomp and Steel Grasp I think are like, they're pretty niche. I think they're okay to keep. Maybe we'll see some builds with this down in the future. And then yeah, here's some passives. I've personally never really used them. It's just mainly some like healing or some like recovery basically. Then we have the Worldly Endurance here. The dodge chance could be very nice, like max life or armor I don't think you ever need. You would always want a Challenging Shout cooldown or a single rest roll, because Barbarian, basically the resistance roll just always saves you Paragon points, so that's really cool. And total armor, you just use Juggernaut and you never have any armor problems pretty much. Then we have the recovery here. This also is like a bunch of healing. Not really all too useful. If anything, you would use the protection here. I think the Good Shrill Yell, this one could be pretty cool for just more DR. It also buffs your party members. But yeah, you know, like defense is not really like the main thing you're looking for, but it certainly helps to have some stuff like this. So there could definitely be some pretty cool synergies here with some of the defensive stuff. Okay, next we have utility. Thorns, I've not really like had time to play a Thorns bar, but if you want to play Thorns, this one could be pretty cool. Especially some of the passives, you can scale them very well. So you probably want to always play the Thorn body here. You get percent Thorns, sounds pretty cool. On the live server, I didn't have time this PTR, but on the live server, I definitely want to make this. Then we have Control here. This one also has a hidden stat, which is Upheaval Stun Duration. This one can be pretty cool with Stun Duration and Concussion. You can actually get this passive to be, let me see here real quick, to be like 90%, and you can scale it even higher with the stun chance. This helps you a lot if you want to be staggering any of the bosses. So pretty cool recipe. I think you can add like triple, you can have like 10 ranks or something to Concussion, it's insane. And then here, another one for stagger, like I use this in my generator builds, or like fast attacking builds with high lucky hit chance, just to stagger the boss. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, then we have the motion stuff here. This one just charge and leap cooldown reduction is nice. Movement speed always helps. I've been mainly using the generic stuff here, like mobility cooldown reduction. This is just for all mobility skills, so charge and leap, whatever you want to use there. But if you really like coming down with a charge build, which I made as well, that was pretty cool. Having all the cooldown reduction and leap cooldown reduction for leap quake. We also have lunging strike duration, lunging strike range. This one is really cool. I made a build of that. You actually teleport longer, and this actually can be a standalone build because it's basically like a perma teleport. Like you're dashing to the enemy all the time. So pretty cool. I would love to see more of this. I think lunging strike range is a pretty cool stat. Then last but not least, we have the resource here. So generic resource cost reduction helps a lot. There's also another one here for Barb, which is resource generation with different weapons. And this one can roll really high. You can see I almost have a max for. This gives you 40% resource generation. So it is significantly a difference here between 12% or having a 17% base. And you always want to go with the weapon attunement because this is a multiplicative stat. It actually having more of it is so good, especially because you can spawn twisters the more fury you generate, and this resource cost reduction is just full multiplier and really useful. Call of the Ancients cooldown reduction, Iron Maelstrom, Wrath the Berserk cooldown reduction. I've not really experienced a round of this so much. I think the casting ultimate restores resource is not really that great because usually your ultimates have like 40 to 1 minute cooldown. And then this sharing the same slot with as the cooldown reduction is just weird, because yeah, like maybe getting resources on casting ultimate is good if I can reduce its cooldown, but I can't because it shares the same slots. So it doesn't really feel that efficient. I've never been using any of this, and I think just resource generation is just way cooler. Then we have kick cooldown reduction and walker cooldown reduction, as well as brawling cooldown reduction. These are pretty cool, very nice affixes here. And you can combine this brawling cooldown reduction with the charge or leap cooldown reduction that you can get on the boot slot, on the utility slots. So it's pretty strong and makes for perma charge builds and like kick of like having like 3 seconds cooldown on kick, like basically using it almost as a spender. Very nice stuff, and we already talked about this here. Weapon mastery cooldown reduction. That's nice for our Deathblow build. We use this. Deathblow cooldown reduction. Yeah, these are cool. Rupture cooldown reduction and Steel Grass cooldown reduction. We actually use this on our Bash build. So a bunch of cooldown reduction stuff. Pretty cool to see. Yeah, there's a lot more on all the other classes, and I really like how this, or a lot of these are impacting the builds, especially on Barb having like this wide a range of weapon things to temper with, and do it on 4 weapons is just so insane, and it opens up a lot of builds. I'm gonna have a lot of content coming here over the next days showing you all this effect, or the content might already be up. I'm gonna make sure you put it in the description. So it's pretty cool. It's changing the game in a very meaningful way, and I really like the direction the game is taking with all of this like size and cooldown and like different ways basically to modify your skill in a meaningful way. I'd love to see more of this, and I can't wait for the expansion towards the end of this year, because this itemization change is putting Diablo 4 finally on the right track in my opinion. And let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this overview. I really enjoyed the PTR. I'm looking forward to play Season 4 in May. Take care, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.